Hello to everybody, and today I am going to be talking about the phonology of Japanese for all you weaboos out there. Now, before we get into this, let me cover some basic stuff. These are not nouns. This is pronounced o. This is never in a noun. And I'd also like to state that I'm talking about most common pronunciation. So some dialects might say this as wo, but in most it's o. This he, when it's not a noun, it's we. This ha, when it's not a noun, it's wa. And sometimes the u at the end of a word sign like des. Now, first let's go over the vowels. There are 5, but they're a bit different than you might have thought. First, there is a. It's ah, like that. You can try that. Ah. Like, it's like the A in trap for some Canadian and English speakers. You know, like English, like England, you know. And then there is E and O, which are mid. They are and o, like as in let in like a few dialects of English, and or like the O in thought in some dialects of English. Now then there's U, which is pronounced like that. And then there's E, which is, you know, it's the letter I mean, sorry. The letter I is pronounced E, like how you'd say the letter E in English. E. Now, let me cover how you'd pronounce these. For the U there, that U, because that's not in any English dialect, I think. So, I could be wrong, but so it's like, you know the oo in food, like that? Well, you know how you round your lips when you say food? Well, try unrounding your lips. Food. Food. See? It sounds like food. It's different from oo. It's Now, we shall cover the consonants. Now, the way the consonants work is they're like this. I'll go over them by how you'd sort them in the chart on the IPA. There is which is like English. I'll just say after the consonants because it might be a bit hard. There's ma, though the isn't part of the pronunciation. You get what I mean. There's ma, like how you'd say in English. There is na, which is how you'd say at the beginning of a word in certain contexts. There's also nya, which is pronounced before ye, like ni. And then there's also what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there's the velar and uvular. The velar one only appears before ka and ga. So it's like in English, ing, no, you know. But then there's an interesting one. The uvular, is produced by, oh, let me talk about the palatal, and for the palatal one, like, you know, nya, you produce it like how you'd say nya in Spanish, like español, like that nya, yeah, except only before e. Now let's talk about the It's not in English. It's quite interesting how you pronounce it. So, you know how for the R in French, you say it as ha, ha, ha. Well, put your tongue in that position, the place where you make oh, and then close your teeth, and then produce air through your nose like you would for an or like that. The n or no. And it would be pronounced as yeah, no. Yeah, and then there's also the scissor stops forever. There's ba, da, ga, which are pronounced a bit differently than in English. Ba, da, ga. Like, you know how in English kind of have a puff of air when you pronounce consonants like pot, tot, or cot. When you say pot, top, or cop, you kind of produce a little bit of air. In Japanese doesn't have that. They're slightly aspirated, but not really enough. So where you don't make a distinction, like katana, like you can tell how much affrication you'll need by speech. You know, you'll hear the air, and you can kind of adjust it. So yeah, it's pronounced kinda like how they are in Spanish, except slightly more air, but you'll get used to pronouncing them that way. Then there's the, it says, ooh, I like this. So, you know the letter F in Japanese? Well, the F in Japanese is pronounced as f. Yeah, f, f. Now, I might need to get a bit technical, sorry, but the way that this is made is like, you know, for those who know Spanish, it's like the B in between vowels, except on voice, like you don't move your vocal cords like a bot, you do it with none like a pot. But for those who aren't like in Spanish, you know, it's kind of like you put your lips in the position you'd make for pot or bot, then put a little bit of space between them, start breathing air. And there's fa, fa, fa. these are like that. Huh. Then there's sa and za, which are kinda like how they are in English. They're basically the same. Exactly, you know. And then there is the SH and J sounds in Japanese. They're pronounced not like English's sha and ja. They're pronounced like oh, and they also have cha, but like it's not pronounced the way you do it in English. They say like xia, ja, jia, xia. Yeah, it's pronounced like that. Now, how do you do this pronunciation? I'm gonna have to get technical again, but sorry. It's like, you know how you say S in English, you know? Well, put your mouth in the position where it would say E and try making the sound without moving your mouth from that E position, like the way you put your mouth when you say E or ya, like that position. And place your mouth in still mode there and try pronouncing sa. Sh, sha, sh, sha, 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 ja, j, ja, ja. That's for the voiced one, which is like ja, like that one. It's not pronounced like that, you know. It's like try saying za in that exact position again. So like, but you want to also try pronouncing da before it, like you would for ja. Ja, 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 ja. You can try practicing by pronouncing ja before, but it's fine. If you need help, let's talk about ta and za. These are quite easy to pronounce, so you just say T and S the exact same time, like the way you do with cha or ja in English. Though most dialects don't have za, so you can ignore it unless you're having trouble pronouncing jia. Like how I said you could try pronouncing jia if you're also having trouble pronouncing jia. So the way you do this is just say them at the same time like you would for cha or ja in English. Now, but instead of doing it with the bottom teeth like you would to make sha, do it with your top teeth, ta, za. Though only try keeping to pronounce za if it's like you're having trouble trying to pronounce jia, because it might help you a bit. Okay, next we'll talk about ha. It's like English. There's also r, ra, 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 ra. This is quite, I'm not sure how to, it's kind of weird. It's like, explain this, it's like, you know, when you say, hold on, so you know how you say, sorry. Bottle in English. Well, in some accents, you know, they sometimes pronounce bottle as bottle. Yeah, it's like that in English, like bara or 3. It's like that. Ra, ra. Now, you pronounce this sound by getting your tongue to flap a bit on the like the place you make or ta. Yeah, you need to like move it up and down a bit quickly, like ra. Well, not down, but like it goes the other way. You should feel it when you say ra, 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 ra. Yeah, sorry for that. Slow down, this is why I like making DeviantArt, because it doesn't have these awkward pauses and stuff. My terrible voice. Okay, so, ra, and then you have ya for y, and then there's a neat one, wa for w. It's not pronounced like you would pronounce the way you'd pronounce in English, because before some vowels can be pronounced as wah. Now, if you're having a hard time interpreting wah and how you'd say that, the way you pronounce wah is that, so you know, try saying wah, except don't curve your lips. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, you should get the hang of it by saying wah. Just try saying what, but without moving your lips in the way like curving them, you know? Wah, 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 wah. It's quite weird. And now let's go over a few of the allophones. There's hya, like in the word hyaku, or I'm so used to saying them the old way. It's hyaka, yeah, hyaka, yeah, like that. And or maybe it's hyaka, yeah. And then the way you say hya is like the way you'd say hya in like some dialects where you say hu or humongous or like huge, you know that hya, it's that sync sound. And then there's, have I forgot anything? Let's move on to some consonant weakening, which can occur between but and gut. They have allophones, wa and ra. This is only in like, this is very common casual speech and fast talk. Not so much formal, but in case you want to sound natural, you could say wa and ra. They function exactly the way they do in Spanish. If you don't know Spanish, ra is like fa, except you voice it, ra. And then there's ra, which is like ka, except you move your tongue a bit down, then try breathing in some air, and then voicing your vocal cords. Works a bit like that, yeah. And that should be everything covered, right? Yeah, I think it should. Now, let's practice a few things on how you'd say things like omae wa, like, you know, omae ga mo shinderu. Though I'm so used to pronouncing it the old way. I know how to pronounce it. It's just that when I talk naturally, I forget to say it. So let's practice a bit. Omae wa mo shinderu. Nani? That's fun. Also, I guess I should talk about. I think I forgot something as well. Oh, yeah. There's also a variation of it's gonna be centralized E, which is like uh, uh, it's a very rare sense in like a few dialects where you say lip or rid. Like, it's quite rare, but like for those who don't speak those, it's kind of like E, except you move your I to the center, E. And A and O are kinda like the short vowels, or like the position of your mouth you'd say in English, not the name English, but like the language, you get what I mean. And is like except in the middle of your mouth. Now let's talk about gemination. Gemination is basically, in non-language terms, like just saying the consonant sorta twice. For example, the way you say Japan in Japanese is Nippon. Now let's say that again. Nippon. 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 Notice the way I pronounce P. Nippon. It's like I say it kind of twice. Nippon. Nippon. I'm not sure if it occurs in English, but it seems to occur in like Arabic a bit, though I doubt a lot of people watching this know Arabic. Actually, yeah, if you know how Arabic's double consonant works, like shud, then it basically works exactly like that. And yeah, that's it. Let me try saying a few other things. Naruto, 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 Naruto. That you weebs might want the weeb. And then there's also Famitsu, Famitsu, Famitsu. Like, that's a good way of practicing Fa. It's not that common. Tofu, tofu. tofu. Yeah, that should cover it, hopefully. And this ended up being 25 minutes long. Okay. Goodbye.